In Cuba, where oil from Venezuela has dried up under US pressure, electricity, fuel and medicine is running short, with another airline ceasing operations today and 20-hour blackouts leaving food rotting in fridges, if there at all. The banging of pots and pans, a signal of distress, is now a nightly soundtrack in Havana, and it is this moment that the US has chosen to tighten its grip.
Today, we are announcing an indictment charging Raul Castro and several others with conspiracy to kill US nationals.
The US waited 30 years to formally accuse Raul Castro of ordering the downing of 2 civilian planes, killing 4 Cuban Americans in 1996. An indictment a bit like the one issued before the US seized Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro, with one big difference. The former Cuban president, while still seen as the power behind the throne, is about to turn 95.
Declaración del Gobierno Revolucionario.
Cuban state TV said the government condemned the despicable accusation against the leader of the revolution, accusing the US of lacking legitimacy and political provocation. And the Cubans will see this as provocative too. News today that the American aircraft carrier, the USS Nimitz, one of the world's largest warships, had entered the Caribbean Sea, a pattern now familiar after Venezuela and Iran. So are they preparing to act?
Other presidents have looked at this for 50, 60 years doing something, and it looks like I'll be the one that does it, so we'd be happy to do it. We want to open it up to Cuban Americans where they can go back and help.
But what is the it? The hand of friendship or military action? The Cuban-American Secretary of State recorded this Spanish message to Cubans, offering aid and a new relationship yesterday, saying their government, and not the US, is to blame for the hardship. But the mood music was different when CIA Director John Ratcliffe visited the island nation last week, with US intelligence leaked to Axios, claiming Cuba had acquired more than 300 military drones, a claim that has been met with skepticism. As tensions rose, China stepped into the fold, with a foreign ministry spokesman saying it opposed US pressure on Cuba.
美方应停止对古巴
The US should stop wielding the stick of sanctions and judicial measures against Cuba and stop resorting to threats of force at every turn.
Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C.,
Americans have really had their fill of Donald Trump's excursions.
I don't know what the president's plans are, but the combination of his rhetoric and the positioning of U.S. forces and blockading of energy into Cuba, you know, if this was happening in the United States, we would consider it an act of war.
I think we need to have liberty and freedom. I don't think it's going to take military action. I think the people of Cuba are going to rise up.
the issue was firmly on the agenda on Capitol Hill, with different views but a shared anticipation that for Donald Trump, Cuba could be next in line.